Welcome back to the second part of Focus 2. So today we're going to be discussing self-assessment. Ultimately, what is self-assessment? It's where you could discover your majors and occupations, matching it with your personal attributes. This is a way of looking at yourself a little bit differently than you normally would. For Focus 2, there's 5 different self-assessments. So you learn about your work interests. What interests you? Personality, how we deal with the environment. Leisure assessment, what we do for free time. Our values, what are the things that we value? Do we value money or prestige, or do we value helping others? And our skills, where we see ourselves skilled at. So when you start, you're just going to click the start button of each of the areas, and you're going to answer each of these. For example, designing graphic art images and illustrations for advertising media. I could say, ew, I would not like that as a 1. Yeah, I could see myself somewhat, maybe if all else fails, doing it, a 2. I'm not quite sure. It seems kind of fun, but I'm not 100% sold on it. That would be a 3. A 4 would be, wow, this would be really interesting. Versus a 5, wow, I would totally love that. And these are the areas that you would be answering. And as far as you go, like once you finish the first one, this little blue line on the top will continue to move over, and it will tell you how much more you have to complete. When you get to the end of answering these areas, what it's going to do is going to give you the Holland's code. So it's going to tell me that I'm artistic, social, and enterprising. What does that mean? Scroll down and you could learn a little bit more about it. The other aspect is if you press the continue at the end, it's going to match me up with different occupations, matching just my interest. So if I click on broadcast news analyst, any occupation that's here is completely like this. I could click show all in case anything's hidden. And I could look at the job task, I could look at the work interest profile. But what's really nice about Focus 2, it's actually lining me up, I'm the blue, versus the broadcast news analyst. So it's showing 75 to 94, 67 to 37.5. So it's really showing me, am I actually able to do this type of job? And when it's extremely high compared to where I'm at, there might be some of a learning curve. Doesn't mean I can't do it, just means that there's going to be a learning curve. The other aspect is I want to look at the values. The things that I value, is that the same value? And also working conditions. Do I value sitting a lot, or working inside, or being very accurate? Once again, educational requirements is listed here. Anytime I see something, I'm like, wow, this is really cool, I could go ahead and save this major. I could say why, and I could even rate it, yeah, just 2 stars. And I could save along the way. The other aspect is if I see this little link, I could click on the link, and it'll take me directly to the catalog where I could look at the different majors and go to journalism and find that information about what classes are required. So this is, any time that I see that, I could save it on major-wise, but I could also do it, and I think I've already have, under the broadcast news analyst. I saved it. I say why I like it, if there's any questions or concerns, something I want to ask the academic advisor or counselor. What I like about it, I could also rate it, and then I save the occupation. So as I go along, that was just the work interest. When I get into the personality will allow me to answer one or the other. At a crowded social party, what are you more likely to do? Talk and stay with a group of friends, or circulate, meet, and talk with lots of people? So on this one, you're forced to choose one or the other. Sometimes there are the evils of both. So what is the lesser evil? Sometimes it's ones that you love on both of them. What is the one that outshines the other one? So you're going to answer it. Once again, if you notice the top, it's telling you I'm finishing 20% at every single 4 questions until I'm at the end. When I actually get to the end, what's really nice about the personality assessment, it basically tells me an overview, but it also gives me an idea of why I want to work. It answers, why do you want to work? What is my core passion? This is something that you could utilize when you're in an interview, why should we hire you? And you could answer utilizing your personality type. But ultimately, why do I want to work? I want to work where I can help people learn new skills, improve their psychological well-being, and their physical health. That is my core purpose of why I want to help. There's several of these. And so you find that little blurb in the middle of that sentence, and that will allow you to know, why do you want to work? It also tells you the fields that it typically sits under, and that gives you a better idea. When you press continue, it's going to give you this information. It never gives you a way to get back to the main page. So you could also do the researching. You could click on any of these, learn about it, save the occupation, mark down what you like, and give it some stars. And at the end, always just press this home button. The home button will take you to the main page. So now I've looked at my personality. I could look at my leisure assessments. Not at all, slightly to very high, same thing. You're going to be answering these questions. It looks very much like the interest one. And once you get to the end, finish, it's also going to tell me that what areas that I have the most leisure. Sometimes, like for me, there's a tie. So I could say, well, I like to be more inquiring. And then there's another tie. I'd rather influence others, I suppose. And that will give me my areas of my results for leisure. So I'm a creator first and foremost, then I'm a thinker, then I'm a persuader. And these are extremely close. They're 25 and 25 versus 75. And this tells you what this basically means. So make sure that you do the additional reading. Once I finish, I can look at occupations. That's just for meeting my areas. Now, if you notice, there's this little leaf right here. If you click on the leaf, it doesn't do anything. But if you go up here to the icon legend, it'll tell me that leaf is a green job, meaning that it is good for the environment, or it's helping within the environment. Green jobs are experiencing higher demand and may require additional credentials. If there's a little sun, it's a bright outlook. There's going to be jobs in the future. So when I'm actually looking at these areas, I go here, I read about it, I get down to some of the majors, I've saved some of them. I could say, wow, you know what, this kind of matches who I am. I think I'm going to save this occupation. Same thing, what I like about it. I give it maybe just a 1 star and I save this occupation. When I get over to the values is a forced choice. You choose your top 3 areas. So I choose the biggest aspect here is when you are looking at them, make sure that you're reading everything about it. Risk-taking is not just like jumping off a bridge, but it could be frequent physical, financial, or social risk-taking. So there's things with risk-taking that's not just on the physical aspect. So make sure that you choose the 3, press continue, and it's also going to give you an overview of your values. The other aspect, I'm waiting for this to work. So they allow to show your 3 results, and then you can also see the occupations that may have match all 3 values that I put down. It's also an art professor, and it tells me the supporting majors here at Fresno State. And then if I click the little link, it will take me to the catalog so I could review that. And the job family is education and training. That too can also be reviewed. So when I go back out and I look at the skills section, skill does the exact same thing. I choose the top 3 areas. And once I choose the top 3 areas, I say continue, and it'll give me the areas that match, so occupations that match all 3. And it gives me different areas. The biggest thing is trying to see similarities between these, but also being exposed to new careers that you may never even knew existed before. So once I'm done with all of the assessments, it will tell me that I've completed 100% on all. That's when I want to combine my assessment scores. So I say combine, I click all of them, I press continue. Now on these, most of the times you will not have 5 out of 5 assessments that's listed. Sometimes you might have 3 or 4 that's in your 4 assessments. For me, I have 19 occupations that appear in 3. If you press the little plus button, it will tell me the different areas, the supporting majors, and it'll tell me if it's under interest, my values, my personality, my skills, or down here, some of my leisure. So the biggest thing is really looking at this and saying, what is the most important aspect to me? Is it my values and personality? Is it my personality and interest? And trying to find the right combination that allows you to be most successful in the career opportunities that arise. This continues down here at the bottom. So I could say, what do I want to do with this major in all these different areas? It'll tell us if there's a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, a minor, or a certificate. It will give us an idea about accounting, what it's all about, and the different careers that follow through. So if there's a certain major you're looking at, that is very beneficial to do. The other thing is, if I want to look at any major, then I could look at any major within, even if we don't offer it here. I could explore any occupation. So when I explore any occupation, I could go in and it's going to line me up with this occupation. So I could see whether or not this is going to be a successful endeavor for myself. Lastly, you could look at your job families. So I'm typically under the art area. So if I look in here, I can see if I've said yes already, I saved it, or if it was a green job or a job outlook. And there you could see green, bright outlook. And anything that you're like, wow, furniture designer, who knew? So the biggest aspect here is you could even compare 2 occupations side by side. If I say, what's the difference between a administrative law judge versus a lawyer, it will tell me the overview, the educational requirements, the duties that they typically do, the skills. Some of them, writing and authoring is not on the other one, and the values. If you notice, some of the values are different. There's independence over on the right side one. And then you could see how you line up with either of those 2 and the working conditions. At the very bottom, get out of here, sorry. At the very bottom, this is where you could take action. You could look at my education and see, is there certain past, current, or future areas of study that you want to? It also gives you a heads up, some links here, any study abroad. The other aspect down here would also be my professional development. This is where you would add any internships or work experience. So it helps you build that resume later on. And then all of the things that I've been saving, my saved occupations is now here, and it's all in order for me. I could sit here and change things up. I could add, I could delete it. So whatever, if you have like buyer's remorse, I shouldn't have added this major or this occupation, remove it. My saved majors is also, I could update. I could choose whatever my top choice is. And I could also review on this page. Lastly, you also have your print portfolio. You select all and you build your portfolio. This is everything that Focus 2 has to offer, and it also gives you a highlight of where you sit. This is wonderful to bring to an academic counselor or advisor or a peer mentor, so they could view it with you, and you could discuss it. The biggest aspect is everything is listed, but also it allows you to have a nice, clear understanding of who you are. This helps you in an interview situation. So this is basically Focus 2. It's a wonderful opportunity to complete in about 20-25 minutes. You will spend an additional maybe 20 to an hour maybe exploring different occupations and majors. If you ever have any questions, feel free to contact your academic counselor or come by the Career Center, and we could definitely go over it and discuss the different opportunities that you marked as something, as a possibility that you'd be interested in.